Okay, so I don't know if anyone's watching yet. I'm going to try something a little bit different right now, which is have a guest speaker. So I have Megan McIntyre here, and I'm hopefully going to be able to pipe her into the stream. I say hopefully because I can't actually hear her, but perhaps you can. And I mean, I think you can because I can see it. Let me just, I mean, I can see that the audio is coming through, but let me just see if I can get the right window open. And there she is. Okay, great. So this is a little weird, but there she is. Great. And it's not weird that she's here. It's just weird that I can't actually hear her, but I think you can hear her. So I don't know if Megan, if you can hear me, if you're listening to me on the Twitch stream. I know my microphone isn't working through Whereby.
I can hear you.
But you're welcome. You're you're good to go whenever you're ready.
Hi, everyone.
Maybe give me a thumbs
Hi, everyone.
when you're done. Okay, so go ahead, Megan, whenever you're ready.
Hi, everyone. I'm Megan McIntyre. I'm one of the online editors for the Blue and Gray Press, which is the student newspaper here. And myself and the other online editor are both graduating at the end of this semester, which means that there is an opening for the position, and we are currently looking for candidates for this position. And we are looking for underclassmen who are interested in digital studies and journalism and technology and websites. As an online editor, your focus is on using WordPress, which is how we have our website set up, and publishing articles every week, as well as on expanding our social media presence, both through publishing our articles on social media and other content, whether it's breaking news throughout the week or just different topics that the editorial board decides should be posted on social media. If you are interested in this position, we are looking for anyone who is not graduating at the end of this semester or at the end of next fall's semester. So as long as you're going to be here until at least spring 2021, then please, if you're interested, reach out to me at blueandgray.online@gmail.com. And this is not a paid position. However, it looks really great on a resume, and it's something that I can speak from personal experience that I have gotten the opportunity to talk about during interviews, and it really does add something to your resume. So again, if you have any questions or interested, please reach out to me at blueandgray.online@gmail.com. I hope to hear from some of you guys if you're interested. And thank you again, Professor Whalen, for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Yeah, okay, I think that worked. So good. Glad Megan could join us there. Thanks, Megan. I've got too many things going on with audio, but that seems to have worked, and that's great. So let me switch back to my normal way of doing things here um, and get started with today's content. So let's see, there we go, great. All right, so hello, good morning. Welcome to DGST 101. Today, I'm going to be talking about image visualization. That's the name of the module as it's been, but I think cultural visualization might be another name that I renamed this to, just because the term doesn't really suggest much to people, and so I'm trying to think of something that's a bit more descriptive. There's a lot of syllables in cultural visualization, though, so I'm not so thrilled with that, but there's a lot of things that I think I can show you that are interesting and that rely on working with masses of images all at once, and that's what we're doing here. I'm going to get into it with a little bit of some demonstrations of some of the tools that you can use. There's mainly two tools, maybe three, that you will likely use if you're interested in this thing. I'm going to try to show you this process kind of backward, which is that because the process of actually creating some of these, when I did it in the 10 o'clock live stream, it actually killed my computer. Like my computer crashed and I had to restart the stream. So I'm not going to try that particular thing that I did that crashed the stream live, but I'll maybe try something similar and hopefully it won't have the same result. I don't know. Okay, so this is the module description, and you can see there's a few links to things in here, and I'll show you a couple of them. Caitlin reminded me of this artist, Jason Sullivan, so I'll show you his work too. But the main one that I think of as kind of inspirational for this is this is a journal article, the journal Digital Humanities Quarterly, and so this is a digital humanities technique. This is a humanistic kind of inquiry that this particular researcher, Kevin Ferguson, is doing on Disney films, and he's taking these films and he's extracting frames from those films as images, and then with those images doing different kinds of macro analytic operations. So one that's particularly aesthetically pleasing is what's called the summed slices projection, and it's basically every frame from that film combined into one image. And what he's doing here, he's displaying it as a kind of art. I mean, it's something that looks art, but he's doing analysis with it. Other people have done this kind of thing and simply called it art. So that's actually, Jason Sullivan does that, and these are things that he does with The Simpsons in particular. He does other things too, but these are data-driven artistic approaches. And Caitlin reminded me of his work. And so this is a similar kind of thing where it's every couch gag combined into one image. And you can see the basic shapes of the couch gag from The Simpsons appear here. You can kind of see it there, but it looks kind of blurry and abstract. He also did this one where it takes every second of, oh, that's interesting. This is a different one. This is not the one I thought. But where is it? Yeah, all the ways, The Simpsons. So I did this earlier, and I forgot that it was going to be playing the audio for you all. So let me mute your audio so you don't get blasted out by that. Okay, that should be muted. But this is each episode combined into a single episode. So at each second within this, it's every second from every episode. So each second of this, and so you'll see it kind of becoming this undulating, blobby kind of thing. Pretty interesting looking and kind of creepy, which is what a lot of this actually ends up kind of being. So a bit more of a straightforward kind of idea that you'll encounter is something called it's often just called a barcode. Let me see, that's not my barcode tab. This is my barcode tab, I think. Nope, that's my montage tab. Where's my barcode tab? I did a barcode, didn't I? Yeah, there you go. So this is an episode of SpongeBob. It just so happens that on this computer I have several episodes of SpongeBob, and so I've been working with these this morning to try to demonstrate some of these kinds of things, create the kinds of visualizations you might if you're doing this module. And so this is a barcode where it's just taken taken one frame every second for this particular episode, and made each of those frames, each of those images, a tall, narrow strip, and then squeezed them all together. And so you see this entire episode kind of play out left to right if you look at it. And if you know the episode, you might be able to recognize the different scenes. I don't remember which episode this is, so I can't do that. And I have not watched a lot of SpongeBob in my life. I've managed to avoid that, so I don't recognize a lot of episodes, but you might. But you can definitely see SpongeBob himself right here and here and here. These are, recognizable features of these SpongeBob episodes. So this is a tool to do this. This is a tool I made called IMJ, and it's just hosted on my website. It runs in JavaScript, and it uses your web browser's memory. So this is something that is a limitation in some ways. It's a convenient thing because you can just use it, hopefully, but it is a limitation as well. And so one of those limitations is that just the quirks of everyone's computers being slightly different, and this requiring you to use the RAM of your computer, various other things just mean that there are some situations where this simply doesn't work, or it doesn't work as expected. And it's hard for me to predict those things, but it works, I would say, most of the time. And I can show it to you, hopefully. I say hopefully because this is what I did earlier, and it killed my computer that I was working on. It doesn't usually do that. It just happened to do that during the live stream earlier. I think because I was I was streaming and doing this at the same time. But let me just kind of show you how you would do this. You click the browse button and open up all your images. I'm not going to do this, but you grab all your images here. I guess this is the episode FUN. And then you load some settings here, and this is the barcode setting where it's just setting up a canvas, and you give it a width and a height, so that's the shape of the image that it's going to create. And then smoothing, this is these are different things that it can do to it, and I might try this, but this is just the basic no smoothing, and it just goes like that. You just see the images compressed. I will not try that yet, but I'll show you a couple other things before I try that, just in case it kills it. So that one, nothing's there. This one is, I did sort of something similar here. I made this as a montage using the Montage tab. Normally when you do a montage, so see in step 2, the Montage tab, normally it just comes, you can set the thumbnail width and height, like how big is it going to make each of those little images, and then it's going to project them all into this what it calls a montage projection. So this is another way of looking at an entire episode all at once, and you can see kind of the ribbons of the colors here. Now I used some software for that. I'll show you. So yeah, so Gracie's question was, did I like get these shots myself? I did not. Well, I did, except I wrote a command in my computer that did it, and but I did not go like watching it and click screenshot every second or something like that. I used something called Ffmpeg. You can also use VLC to do that, but this is the part that can be pretty tricky, and so this is something that if you have a video that you want to get frames from, if you want to extract frames from, I can probably do that for you if that's something that if you can send me the file or tell me how to download it. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. But these are the things where when you have a bunch of images, these are the things you can do with it. There are other things you might want to get images of, like these are episodes of a TV show. Of course, you could do a film if you have a digital copy of it. But these techniques really they work on any other set of images. Like I've had some students do like I think they had to do this manually, but like a whole bunch of images from Instagram. So like you go through a hashtag on Instagram and you download maybe 1,000 images. There are sometimes software tools that can do that. However, I know Instagram and Facebook, which are the same company, they don't like you to do that. Like they make tools like that hard to make. So I don't know if that makes sense. But if you were writing some software that was going to go out to Instagram and download a whole bunch of images from someone's account or from a hashtag, you essentially have to scrape the website, and Instagram really doesn't want you to do that because I don't know why actually, but they don't want you to do that. So if you write some tools, a software code that will do that, it often won't work for very long before they'll block it. Anyway, in any case, all we're doing with image visualization is with this module we have lots of images, and we're going to try to do something with them. I just got a message from there. Oh, that's a different message. Different conversation. Okay. So this is a montage. The other thing you can do with IMJ, my tool that I made, is you can do a colorimetric plot. So in this case, you pick a thumbnail width for each of those images. You pick a canvas size, and then you've got an x-axis and a y-axis, and it can calculate all these different values for each of those images. So the hue, which is what color it is, the saturation, like how deeply colored it is, or how strong the color is, all these other values that it can calculate automatically, and then it uses those to plot it on an x and y axis. So this is a different episode, I think. But you can see that this is a SpongeBob episode, and so images here, it takes each of those frames and it plots it somewhere in this space. And things that are bluer are over here to the right. Things that are redder would be on the left, but there's not very much red in this episode. And so you essentially get a kind of scattered plot version of this episode that you can take in at a glance, and you can kind of see what the color decisions were and what the basic color palette was. And you can compare different episodes. This one's interesting because of how there's this sort of spread out area in the middle. A lot of times when I was trying this earlier, a lot of times you'll see they sort of compress into a single kind of, they tend to hover near the middle in terms of brightness, but then they move full left and right in terms of the hue. So in this case, yeah, again, so like left is red and right is blue, up is darker, and then down is lighter. And so you can see that it tends to be, this is a relatively dark episode visually, because there's a lot more up in the top and right of this in this plot. Okay, so again, you can do that with any of these things. So I'm going to go ahead and try this. Now I'm going to try a couple things. So this is the thing that when I did it before, it broke. So I'm a little nervous about trying it again, but it's probably worth demonstrating. Oh, by the way, this is a vertical montage barcode. I just wanted you to see how with the montage option, you can change these parameters in ways that you can make pretty different looking projections of it. So in this case, instead of printing like across 50 columns, I've just made it go one column, but I made each column rather wide, and so this is like a vertical view of that episode, and you can definitely see SpongeBob here as he sticks out. Sometimes this view is more interesting. Okay, so let's see if I can actually do this live here without destroying my computer. So I'm going to try this first. So this has already loaded these 1,329 images, and so I don't have to reload those. I can try a different setting set here. So let's go with dominant color. Okay, this will be interesting. So whenever you go here, you have to apply the settings, and even though it doesn't say it here, I think it's, yeah, that progress bar should have reset, but it didn't. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. If this does crash, you know, I may have to rejoin you in a moment after I fix it, but let's try it. So this is going to be instead of taking each image and then just compressing it into a vertical slice for this barcode, it's going to take each image and then figure out what the main color is in it, and then make that the slice, just the color. So let's see if it does something. And I'm going to watch it, but of course there's a lag in what I can see on the stream. So far so good. It doesn't usually take this long to process, so that, yeah, sometimes it'll just kind of go in a big chunk like that. Let me know if things get weird on the stream. But so far so good. Yeah, it's working its way across. Sometimes it'll get stuck around 45%, and it usually gets unstuck. My stream is still broadcasting, so I think it really is just kind of waiting for processing time, and there we go. Get across here. Oh, is it done? Great. Okay, so excuse me. Okay, great. So while that was happening, I was looking for ways to mass download images from Instagram. I just Googled it and I found this thing called gramsave.com. You know, a lot of these, they're going to end up charging you money, so I don't know. I'll try it out and let you know if it works without costing anything. just trying it out here on my other computer. Oh, okay, sort of works. Okay, well, I'm not sure how to. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. Okay, well, anyway, I'll try that. Anyway, IMS seems to have worked, and it seems like the stream did not get destroyed, so that's great. So now that if you create an image like this and you like it, I mean, this one does look pretty good. You can right click and then save image as. The download button sometimes doesn't work in some people's browsers for some reason. You can save image as, or like ultimately you can always just take a screenshot of it. That is another way to get it into your computer. You definitely want to do that because this is not saved anywhere in the cloud. You're not, by the way, uploading things to my website when you do this. It's all just being done on your computer. So there's no, I don't have these if you need them or something. So make sure you get it. So save image as, or you can try view image. Let's see, I don't know if that'll work, but yeah, that looks pretty good. But it's just data. It's a data URL, so it's not something that you can link to. You just need to actually save it and name it something that you can remember it by. Okay, so that one worked pretty well. This particular view, the plot thing, is pretty processing intensive. Like the computer has to do a fair amount of work to get it to project these on the graph like that. So that's probably why when I did it before it killed my stream. So I'm not going to do that now. But I will show you another tool here that is pretty commonly used, and I think I will first show you how I extracted the images. So this is, let's say you have an image you would like to, switching my capture here, my broadcasting thing. Let me see, let me minimize OBS so you don't see the tunnel. So let's say you have a video. Let's take a look at this jellyfish one. And let's say, you can watch it just to make sure. I don't remember where I got these from. It's probably a torrent. But this is Jellyfish Jam. I don't know this episode. I don't know most episodes. But I have it here, and it's 104 megabytes, so it's a pretty low resolution, and that's fine for this kind of stuff. You don't need it to be high quality. In fact, if it's higher resolution, like if you download these at 1080p, it's just going to take your computer forever to work through them, or it won't be able to. So when you get these, it's okay to get a lower resolution if you get them. Now, I don't know how far into this you want me to go, but there is a way to download YouTube videos. So if you can find something on YouTube, then I can show you how to get it downloaded from YouTube, and then we can do this frame extraction stuff with it. Is it one of the best episodes? I don't know any of these episodes. But once you get it, you're going to have to, or what I'm going to do is work in a command line. If you've never spent much time in a command line or a terminal, it can be disorienting and weird at first, even not just at first, but for a while. It's something that it's a good thing to know how to do, but it's something that a lot of people haven't done yet, and so it can be very disorienting, and kind of walking someone through it can be tricky, especially over a chat kind of interface, because it has to do with, it's a lot of abstraction. Like you have to understand where you are in the terminal, like where what folder your terminal is in, and even basic stuff like moving around in folders can be disorienting and strange, and if you try a command in the wrong place, it won't work the way you expect it to. So that's the kind of thing I do like to spend some time in class walking you through, but it's just impractical over a video thing unless we can share a screen or something. Anyway, I'm just going to show you what I do, and then if you would like to do something similar, I can hopefully get you started, but I might end up just doing this for you, and that'd be fine. Okay, so this is the folder. I'm in the terminal, and I'm looking at the same folder here that I have here. So this is a different way of looking at the folder. And I've got a folder called, Jellyfish Jam, and I'm going to try to put I'm going to try to extract images from the video file and then store them into that Jellyfish Jam folder. So while this command runs, we should see this folder start filling up with these images. So I'm using a tool called Ffmpeg. It's a command line utility for doing all kinds of powerful things with video, like changing different, converting formats, even splicing and editing videos if you know the commands. it's very useful. You may even already have it on your computer because a lot of times software will actually be using Ffmpeg under the hood. But in any case, if you don't have it, you do have to install it. And again, I can show you how, but it's different on different computers. So this command so far, the -i, just means this is a file that it's going to use as input, and it's going to be using jellyfishjam.avi. Now -r, this is going to be the rate that I want to extract the images at, and so let's just do 1 per second. So if you do the number, if you give it a number here, that's how many frames per second it's going to extract. So 1 would be 1 per second, 2 would be 2 per second, 12 would be 12 per second. That's going to be too much, so really that's not necessary to have that much for the kinds of things I'm doing here. If you want it less, so like if you want it every 2 seconds, you can give it a decimal, so 0.5 would be every 2 seconds. Let's just do 1, and then I need to give it a template for these file names that it's about to create. It's about to create about 1,000 files, so I need to tell it how to name those as they get created so that it doesn't just make the same file over and over again. And this is a template that says name it, put it into this folder with this naming schema, and then make it a 5-digit number, and add 1 for each JPEG. So this is going to be kind of intensive processing. When I did this before, it did not have any problems with the stream, so hopefully this will be the same. But once again, this is about to ask my computer to do a lot of work, and so it might crash again. So hopefully it won't. But I'm going to hit go, and then hopefully it will just take a few seconds. So assuming this is still broadcasting, I guess. This is Ffmpeg doing its thing, and you can see the images filling in over here. This should take about a minute, I think. But if this were a higher resolution or a longer video, or if I were asking for more frames per second, it would definitely take a lot longer. Okay, so that's it. That was done. So let's see. How many did it make? Only 665? I should have done more. Huh, okay, well, it's probably good enough. That's probably fine, but let's just make sense. Check that what's happening here? Okay, I don't know what's happening there, but it seems to have worked anyway. So we do have now 665 images from this episode of SpongeBob, and that's probably enough, but I thought it would have done more. I guess it's a shorter episode. Okay, so now let's do something with these. I'm going to cut this in out. Don't need that either. So this is a tool, hopefully you can still see this. Yeah, this is a tool called ImageJ, and you can download this from, I don't have the tab up anymore, but you can download this from imagej.net. And I did find, so this is free software, it is open source, it runs in Java as opposed to JavaScript. What I did is in JavaScript because it's running in a web browser. Java, it's going to run on your desktop. It's much more powerful and much more complicated, but when it works, it works really well. I found when I tried to download the standard version of it, it didn't work, and I don't totally know why, but this one, they recommend using this distribution called Fiji, and I did this morning, and it worked fine on me. So I downloaded I'm on a Linux computer, so I downloaded the Linux version. Of course, you would want to get the one that is the best for your situation. But it sometimes takes some setup or some configuration or adjusting things depending on which version of Java you have and your operating system. So, your mileage will vary, as we say. But whatever you end up doing, this is what it looks like. It's just this little thingy, this little window here, once you get it installed. And here's what we are going to do with it. I'm going to make a Z projection with it. So you first have to import your image sequence. And I honestly, I have not used this a whole lot. So I only know how to do a couple things with it. But this is going to read in those 665 images into what it calls a stack, and then I can start doing things with it. So this is also a memory intensive kind of thing, but hopefully the stream will survive. Let's see. And so you should see the progress bar going here. It's just got to read all these images into memory, and then I can start doing things with it. While this is completing, by the way, so the Ffmpeg thing I did, there is a way to use VLC to do this as well. VLC is the video software. VLC is actually a GUI for Ffmpeg, I think, but there is a way just within the menuing system to extract frames from a video using VLC. And I don't remember how to do that, but I can show you sometime probably. This is VLC, the traffic cone icon. Okay, so let's just see. This should have the entire episode, well, all 1 second at a time. Looks like it's working. Okay, great. So with this image stack in memory now, I'm going to try to make a Z projection. So this is under the image menu, and you go to image, stacks, and then you can do different things. Like you can make a montage, which is, remember that array where it prints them as a table. You can do that. You can also do various, like all kinds of analytical stuff with this, I think. But I don't totally know how to do that. So I'm going to show you the one thing I do know how to do, which is to, nope, not that. 3D projection. I don't know what. I'm curious about that, but I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to do the thing I do know how to do, which is a Z projection. So where is it? It's stacks, right? Stacks and Z project. So a Z project is like the Z axis, like so coming towards you. So it's going to be projecting these along that axis. And it's going to be summing the slices, meaning that at each pixel, it's going to take every pixel at that X and Y coordinate and then add the color coming toward you. So this is a different way of projecting the color space, but anyway, if you don't totally know what that means, just try it and see what it looks like. You have different options for Z projection. Average intensity looks similar, but duller usually. So I'm going to go with some slices because that usually looks the most interesting. And it shouldn't take too long because these are not huge images and there's not that many of them. And yeah, there we go. Great. So that's that entire episode in one image. And it looks pretty cool just as a kind of abstract piece of art. You can see, I think you can see some facial features in that. So obviously the more images you use, the less detail you'll see, but it's kind of interesting how you can see some of these details here. I did this morning with all of the episodes that I have, and you can see it's much less detailed, a bit more aesthetically interesting, right? I mean, I can imagine putting this on the wall, like this looks like a painting. And even within this one, you can see kind of see SpongeBob. I mean, you can kind of see a white area where his eyes would be and a yellow body and then the blue background. Which just kind of shows that within the thousands of images that this was using, it is pretty common that you'll see like a more or less straight shot of SpongeBob, and that's what I think is being reflected here in this. So it's pretty interesting. And this is all, I've tried to do this with, like this whole technique, I tried to implement this in my JavaScript thing, but it takes too much memory. Like there's no way it just would be impractical to do there. So if you want to do this kind of image, you really do need to use ImageJ for that. Yeah, so there's that. So by the way, while I'm here, this is probably beyond, I don't know if anyone's going to want to do this, but it was kind of interesting, so I thought I'd show you. I used a neural net thing. There's a machine learning tool called Runway ML that someone showed me the other day, and it's a way to pretty easily do neural net kind of things. So this is an AI kind of computer brain, basically trained in how to draw images. And what I did was I took a neural net that had previously been trained on flowers, so it knew how to draw flowers, and so that was the model that I started with, the brain that I started with. And then I trained it on all these SpongeBob frames. I gave it all these SpongeBob frames and said, hey, these are also flowers, so try to draw like these new flowers. And so it took it a couple hours to train itself, and I'll show you what it came up with. It's pretty interesting. These are images that it thinks are flowers based on the idea that SpongeBob images are flowers. And you can see pretty disturbing, I guess, or creepy. I don't know. I really like some of these just as kind of art pieces. They look very surreal, obviously. This is a good one. I like this little guy. or I think the one before. Yeah, I don't know if this is like a haunting like Squidward plankton hybrid entity down here. Um, it's just really fascinating to see how the computer brain thought of these images and what it came up with. Most are pretty creepy, and that's okay for me. It's fine, but some people might find this disturbing. I don't know. You can also, with the neural network, the way that it imagines these images is as it thinks of these as occupying a position in n-dimensional space, where each of those n dimensions is a feature that it has recognized and replicated, and so you can plot it as any image as having some degree of each of these particular features. So it implies all this other within that n-dimensional space. It implies all the other images that could exist, and then that's what we're seeing when it generates images. It also, the software that I was using generated a video of working through that space, or like walking through that space. So this is the neural net just kind of wandering in a circle in that space, or not a circle because it's in n-dimensional space, but a loop through that space. And so you can see some of the images that you saw generated. You can see kind of where they fit in that space as it walks through it. Pretty fascinating and creepy, I think, to watch. I do kind of wonder if I had trained it longer, or if I had given it more images, maybe it would have made less creepy images, but I kind of doubt it. I think they just would have been maybe more cartoony. So, but they're pretty cartoony, and I'm pretty happy with that result, actually. So I don't know. That's a kind of out there, but it is another way to deal with a bunch of images and do something interesting with a bunch of images. So yeah, that was several tools. They mostly worked. Your first step, if you're going to do this, is figuring out like what images you want to analyze. And if you want to do an image, a set of images from a video, you'll first need to download it from YouTube or acquire it some other way. So if you have a question about how to do that, let me know, and I can show you how to do that. Although I don't know if so I did not build this AI query. I used something called Runway ML that came pre-built with the models. And in Korea, I can't actually get Runway to work anymore on this computer. I don't know why. It actually is a subscription-based service, so they give you you can do one training set for free, and then you have to start paying for it, and I didn't feel like paying for it. And so I can't actually show it to you anymore, but if you download it, it's you can try it and just run it once, and then maybe that's good enough. It's runwayml.com. So I think it's just a nice GUI for doing neural net stuff, and it comes pre-configured with a lot of things. But you can do all that kind of thing yourself in a command line sort of environment. It's kind of tedious, and so it might be something that at least I think the product they're offering is essentially like they've done the tedious parts of that for you, and so they're giving you a nice looking and easy to use interface for that kind of thing. So it's a good idea, but it's not free, so that's something that I have not looked into. Although educators, I'm an educator. Okay, yeah. So I guess there might be a discount for me, but yeah, I don't know. Even a discount might not be cheap enough. So anyway, and I think it also, I was not really paying attention to what it did. I think it actually does the processing on their servers. So I think that's why they're charging you, because their GPU is the one that is running it. And that makes sense that they would want to charge for that, because that is expensive to run. You can also do, like, if you really want to get into this stuff, Google Colab is something that I've used for teaching Python programming, and it actually comes with a GPU backend that you can hook into through Google servers, and that is also that's another way to do that without having to download and set up a lot on your own computer. Anyway, so that's something else, I guess. But Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the SpongeBob stuff. I might put that online. So the other thing I guess I'll show you is if you're trying to get an image or if you're trying to get a YouTube video downloaded, there is a tool called YouTube DL, which is what I use in a command line environment. You can get it on a Mac. That's usually how I do it. In fact, I don't have it installed on this computer yet, I don't think. Somebody's having a hard time upstairs. My kids have been really like grumpy this morning. I don't know what's going on. But let me go ahead and see if I can get YouTube DL on here. YouTube DL is a very convenient tool for, for downloading things from YouTube. So let me just get that on here. And this is what I will show you how to do or do for you if there's a YouTube video you want. Just taking a minute to set it up here. While it's doing that, let's see if I can find a YouTube video. Then I'll wrap it up. Let's see. Just looking at my YouTube recommendations here. Trying to find a short one. Okay, I guess this Honest Trailers. These are mildly amusing usually, so that's why they come up in my recommendations. So I'm going to close the YouTube tab because that'll take some memory that I don't need to spend right now. So the way it works is you just, now that I've installed this YouTube DL, this command line software, I just have to type YouTube DL and then paste in the URL of the YouTube video that I want to download. And just hit enter and it just goes. Hopefully, actually, this might kill my stream too, but, oh, this YouTube video is unavailable. Why is it unavailable? It's not unavailable, I just saw it. Well, it's not, this is not. The software is not infallible. Okay, well, I'd have to maybe try a different video. I don't know. But that's just to say your mileage will vary with anything, especially open source software. Okay, well, I'll wrap it up unless, looks like Curry was typing. Maybe I'll let you, if you have a question, I'll let you type that so I can. Okay, yeah, that's true. So Curry's pointing out sometimes videos can't be downloaded. Usually you get a different error than this one. In that case, anything where it's like you know, you can pay to watch a movie, then yeah, it could be. But if you pay to watch a movie on YouTube, those videos I've found you can't download through this method. You can download it, but what you'll see is encrypted. Like it'll have a DRM layer on it that you can't actually view it. So it doesn't work for this kind of stuff. But yeah, that could be why. Or I don't know. I could try to download one of my videos. This is just out of curiosity. See how this works. Just so I can show you how this works. So these are of course all my streams, but let me get something that's not one of these stream videos, but that is public. What did I do with this though? See, some of these are the private videos. It's not important. I just, usually YouTube DL works fine. That's the whole point there. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up because I've been going on too long. Thanks for watching. If you have questions or if you want to do this module and you have questions about how to do different parts of it, let me know. Of course, you don't have to commit to a module yet, but that you should be thinking about it soon. On Wednesday, I plan to take you a look at networking or mapping or maybe both because a lot of times you'll use the same tools for that. So maybe I'll combine those as another extended introduction to those. Also, don't forget to do the weekly assignments, like the end of the week assignments that I do every Friday. It's really just a check-in kind of thing, so I don't have any expectations for what you put in those. So even if you just have to say, I haven't done anything this week, please do that so that I know that you're still out there and still checking in. That's important, so please do that. So, yeah, I think that's all I had to say. Okay, well, have a good afternoon. Thanks for watching. I will see you all, or you will see me on Wednesday.